So seeing it's fast approaching pancake day, we're making 3 different types of pancakes today. Well, 3 different just mixes. So the mixes are going to be an American one we're going to do first. So this one is the American one, and this is like the English type pancakes. And the first thing I've sieved it, so that as well as take the lumps out, it gives it a bit of air in. It's called aeration, so that's the word for number 2. So first one is 3 types of pancake batter. There's going to be American, English, and also I'm going to make some Scotch, which is similar to American, which I'm going to explain in a minute. So seeing we're going to make this one first. This is the English type pancake. 2 eggs in there, plain flour for this one, milk, 300 mils of milk. I'm not going to add it all for a reason. Switch it on with a whisk up. So, just to start hold the bowl, I've left a little bit of milk out for a reason. I'll explain that in a minute. I'm going to make something else with it. Now, in this recipe, there's 120 grams of flour, 2 eggs, and 300 mils. Yeah, that's nearly done. You can do this with a hand whisk if you prefer. So this one here is the American pancakes. This has got roughly 3 times as much flour in it compared to this one here, because this was only 100 grams of flour and this one's 200 grams, but I'm using only 200 grams of milk. So it's roughly equal amounts of self-raising flour with a bit of extra baking powder and some milk and 2 eggs. So this one's equal amounts. This one's nearly 3 times the amount of egg than milk, so it's a lot thicker. And this one's self-raising flour. Yeah. Normally I wouldn't actually weigh this, I just guess. This looks actually quite runny actually. For 200 and 200. Yeah. So that'll do this up. This one normally also has some sugar in it. So I'm going to put in roughly 25 grams of sugar. About each rounded tablespoon. So rounded tablespoon is 25 grams and a level tablespoon is about 12 grams. I think that's one of the questions on the sheet. That was number 4 and 5. So sugar, and the sugar. So this is the American pancake. Okay. Yeah, we're both done, but I'm going to leave the whisk on there for a minute just in case I need it again. That looks a bit more runnier than I would normally do. I normally just guess it, by the way, I don't normally do that, but that looks quite runny to me for an American one. So number 6, in a lemon, what is the yellow skin called? We're going to do that bit in a minute. So we've got 2 different batters here. I've left the milk out for a minute. I'm going to take a tiny bit of this batter out because I'm going to make a little Yorkshire pudding, because it's a similar mix, but I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to take a bit, this is going to be enough for Yorkshire pudding, just a little bit runny for Yorkshire pudding, but this will be okay, and I'm going to add a bit more. So I'm just going to take out enough for 1 Yorkshire pudding. I'm heating the tin up first, so in about 5 minutes, I'm going to put that's my Yorkshire pudding, which is similar. So I'm going to put the rest of the milk in, give it a stir in. Now this is quite runny. Some of the recipes online only say 100 grams of flour. I'm using 120. Because that makes it a little bit thicker. So we've got loads there. So the next one is just going to move that to one side. Try and keep the questions there. So I've got some lemon here. So we're going to prepare some of the fillings. So we've got a chopping board. So I'll put it on here without covering the questions up. So it just moves the American one in there. Oh, so one thing is the difference between a crepe and a normal like English pancake. Because the crepe's a little bit thinner normally larger, and sometimes they only cook one side, and they normally cook them in like rather than the frying pan, one of those big round griddle type pancake griddle pans, right? So that's 3 differences, but you only need to write 2 of them down. And the mixture could be even slightly runnier to where you're making it so slim. Now, The difference between an American one and an English and the Scotch one is, the American one has extra butter in it, so melted butter. So this one's going to be ready for the, so got some melted butter here ready, a little bit of melted butter here. So this is going to be the American one, and this is the Scotch one. They're pretty similar, to be honest, and most people probably don't know there's much difference in them. And this one normally has a slight bit more milk, so it's slightly runnier. So I'm just going to put a tiny drop of milk in that one because it's normally got more milk in it. And if I make it in a minute and it's too thick, you know, too runny or too thick, I can always change it, but I have followed the recipe, like I said. So this is the Scotch one without the butter, and they're also called drop scones. And these ones, and this one here is the American one. This has got a bit of the butter in it. They normally both have sugar in. So this is the American one. Yeah, that looks quite runny, so I might put a bit more flour in that. I might try one. If it looks a bit runny, I'm just going to make it thicker. So when I normally guess, I normally make it a little bit thicker than that. So lemon zest, because I want to make some different flavoured ones here. So now we're going to come to the cooker. Let me see if I've got any questions I've missed out. Oh, so this bit here is called the zest, and as you can see, I haven't got any white bits in there. I've only got the white bits, so trying to keep all the white bits on there because they taste bitter. So that's the zest and the piss, they're called. So Scotch and American, the American has some butter in it, and the Scotch has normally got a bigger ratio of milk in. So yeah, pancake, I've done them. And how can you tell? Make it like that. So in some of the recipes, it says you can actually separate the eggs and whip the egg white up. So we're going to come up to the cooker now, and we're going to go. I've got three different pans here. So these are really good. A bit heavier than this one. This one looks okay, Tefal one, but I reckon this ones are slightly better. So I'm going to try and do three at the same time. So let's get all the heat on first, and you don't need a lot of fat in these pans, by the way. So I'm going to get them all on. I believe I should have the biggest one in the middle, so I can get three. Well, I've got 6 rings in, I might be able to get 3. So if you're working a chef in a busy place making pancakes, you probably have at least 4 pans on, and you should be able to cope with 4 pans easily, just normal pancakes. So just going to grease these with this silicone brush so it doesn't melt, and what you can do is you can wipe it out afterwards with a bit of paper towel if you put too much in. So you don't need a lot of oil for pancakes. This is one of the mistakes people make. The main one is they make them far too thick than normal pancakes. So we can either make all different ones here. So I've got a ladle, or you can put this in a jug. So you can either get a ladle or put it in a jug. Let's see if I can get all 3 pans in the film. So I've got a ladle here. So I need to let them heat up. That's most important. So while that's going, I'm just going to get some of the fillings ready. So I've got some pancakes. Loads of different fillings you can have for them, obviously. Now most people think you can only have sweet things, but as you can see, I've got some chopped up bacon, and I've got some grated cheese, and 2 cheese and ham ones. I worked at a restaurant many years ago, about 30 years ago, and that was one of the starters then. They got 2 little cheese and ham pancakes. It was 1 pancake cut in half, but there were 2 small ones for a starter, and with a bit of grated parmesan on. So I'm going to try and replicate that today. So once these are all hot, so I've got the ladle here. And then these are for the normal pancakes, and then for the Scotch pancakes I'm going to use a tablespoon. Yeah, that's going to be easy. So they're nearly thick. So we've got, this is the American one here. So we're going to make, this one's a bit thicker. So this is, oh, we've already got one in there. That's good. So this is the American one. They won't look a lot different than the Scotch one, but they taste slightly different where they got the fat in. So we can see if it's hot just by putting a bit of thing and see if it's hot. Probably could be with a little bit hotter. Really won't take long. This pan might not take so long to heat up, and we can put the oil back in the pot or back in the pan if there's any excess oil. So I'm just going to get a couple in here. So I'm going to do 1 big one in here. This is bigger than you would normally do. So I'm just to make this for a reason. You'll see this once it's got why I've made a big one. So I'm going to make 1 big one. Now these are going to be small ones, the normal size that I normally do them. And they normally spread out, so you need to put them only about 4 in this big pan. 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to put some different things in them while they're cooking. So this one I wanted to make look more round. This one I'm just going to make a couple of small ones. These are slightly smaller than the other ones. So I'm doing 3 different shapes here. Right, and I'm going to lower them down a bit more now where they're cooking. Now this one here is going to be round. I'm going to trim that bit off in a minute if it's not perfectly round. So then I'm going to put some blueberries in one of them. So I'm going to put a couple of blueberries in this one just to show you some different things. Now you can mix them in to begin with, but sometimes they burn. Then the other thing I've got, which are well known, in them they're sultanas. So put a couple of sultanas in. Then to turn them, I've got a plastic fish slice, by the way. So make sure it's plastic. So hopefully this isn't too burnt. That's about right. I can lower this down if it's that's not quite dark enough. So I'll leave them for a bit. Just be careful turning these over. So this pan maybe can be lowered down very, very slightly. Otherwise they won't be cooked and they'll be really brown. So turn that one down a little bit. So we've got some different flavoured ones here. So also, I did the lemon zest. So now I'm going to put the lemon zest in the rest of this one here. Or I'm going to put it in the Scotch one actually. So all the Scotch ones are going to have lemon in. So lemon and sultana you can buy, chocolate chip ones, cherry ones, loads of different fruits in there. I've even got some dates here, so I might do a date one in a minute. So I've got this one's thinner. This one might be that was the, where's the Scotch one gone? There's the Scotch one. There's the Scotch one here. So this is a bit not as thick. So these ones are probably done, and you can just toss them as well, but then you toss them all the big ones. So as you can see, they're all done. These ones aren't quite done. Turn these over, and they're cooking. So I'm just going to put these on the plates here. Yeah. And just tip them straight out, basically, nice and simple. So then I'm going to do a couple of Scotch ones. So these are slightly the same, but they haven't got they're slightly thinner. So we'll see if these work. Now I think there's enough grease in them actually. So we're not going to make them too big. Then I'm going to make some different ones here. So I reckon this is thinner. This is normally not quite as thin as this. Yeah, but it's still got better baking powder in. Yeah, and it's not got the fat in. So as you can see, they might be better slightly thicker. So this one here, I'm going to start doing some more, and there's not going completely round there. So it's probably be better making them a little bit thicker like they were. And this is even not quite as thick as sometimes the American ones are. Sometimes I make them even thicker. So these ones are probably done now. Maybe another 30 seconds. And then we're going to get some oil, and we're going to make the normal pancakes now. The normal pancakes that you probably have on Pancake Day. So I'm just going to put a bit of oil in them. Not too much. And you can just tip it straight out, by the way. Yeah, be careful, don't dip it on your hand. So tip it in an empty pot normally, or some people just wipe it out with a bit of kitchen towel. Right, so these ones are just plain ones. And where they're a little bit runny, they've lost their shape a bit. And this pan, I need to have it so the hottest bits around there, because those ones are cooking and those ones aren't. So these ones are now done. So I've made different shaped ones, for different size ones, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So I'm just going to wait for tiny bit of oil in this one, and we're going to make some different shaped pancakes. So these ones here are probably done, but these two aren't quite done. And they're a bit, where I measured it, I normally, like I said, so I'm going to put them on a separate pan. So I reckon they're a bit runny. So before I make any more of them, I'm going to put some more flour in it. But the other American ones were good. So now these are going to be the normal pancakes. Now don't put too much in, that's the biggest mistake people make, yeah? So that amount, and you roll it around the pan and make it reasonably thin, yeah? Now what happens is with these, when you're trying to toss them, I always find the first one I make doesn't always come out or doesn't toss easily, but after that one pan wasn't quite hot enough, and as you can see I've made that one a little bit thick, so you can just pull the excess out or just roll it round. So don't have it too thick. These ones are normally, these are done. Another 30 seconds. So, and I've got a fish slice, so you need a plastic fish slice, you shouldn't use metal. So let's see how long we've had. So we've got in the oven here, I'm going to point it to the oven a minute. We're going to point it to the oven, I'm going to make a Yorkshire pudding. this is reasonably hot. I've only got enough for one here. And then hopefully that will rise. So Yorkshire pudding is more or less the same as pancake. That's why I'm just showing you that, because even though it's completely different, it's the same. So we're going to see that in about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to take it out. Alexa, timer, 15 minutes. So these are going to be done now. So the first one I'm going to turn off like this, and I'm going to toss them after this. So see at the moment it's not moving, but in a minute, after I made this one, the second one will come out easier. That one's not quite done on that side. They're definitely done. So I'm going to do 3 at a time now. Tiny bit of oil in, but only the slightest bit of oil in. Don't put too much in. I've got a silicone brush, which is ideal. Bit of a ladle, so a nice big pan, so I can get nearly a ladle full in. Turn it up a bit. Yeah, and you shouldn't take that. I'm going to show you how to do some tossing. So we're going to move the camera back for a minute, so you can see me do the tossing. Hopefully you can see it here. Let me see if you can see it here. Oh, where's it pointing at? It's up here. So, I don't know if you can see it here. Just go like that. So when people toss, let me show, hopefully you can see that. So when people do this, they go too mad and try and get it off the ceiling. All you do is have it at a 45-degree angle, right, and just flick it. 45-degree angle, flick it. 45-degree angle, flick it. Like that, nice and easy, because most people do it and they drop it on the floor. Same with this one, bring it to there and just flip it over. Now this one here, as you can see, it's the first one. It's not, oh it is just about, but it's not quite done anyway. And if it folds over, be careful, because then it's hard to unfold. So it's not quite done, that one. Anyway, so with this one here, I'm going to move it back to the cooker for a minute. So we're going to put some different fillings in. So I'm going to start with some savoury ones actually. So I'm going to do 2 savoury ones. So one with cheese and ham, one with cheese and spring onion. So I haven't got too much cheese here, so I'm going to put it a bit tight. So I put half the cheese in this one, half the cheese in this one, but it's carrying on cooking on the other side. Probably do with a little bit more cheese in them. This one's going to have the bacon in, or ham or bacon. Yeah. And you can cook them first then do this, by the way, but I'm just showing you so I can show you on the camera. Some spring onion in there. Then I'm going to put these onto a plate. I'm going to bring them around here so you can see the plate. Just going to bring it down here. So as you can see, I'm going to put it just like that. They're easy to get out. All you do is you don't even need a fish blade, just roll it out like so. While that's on there, I'm just going to put the next lot of pancake batter in. Yeah. This one's here. I don't know if you can see this, just tossed in that one. So then we got the cheese and onion one as well. Yeah. Cheese and onion one. And we're going to do something with them in a minute. Just putting a bit more pancake batter in these. You know how many, we'll be able to work out how many pancakes we've got in a minute. So this one's done, so another plate. We're going to get out of 120 grams and 2 eggs. That's 4. This is the 4th one I've got. That's probably all I'm going to get actually, is 4 biggish pancakes. So obviously you'll need to work out how much you want to eat, but I'm making more of the smaller ones. So that's one cooking. So while that's cooking, now there's 2 ways to do this. You can either fold it in half, yeah, and then cut it in half, or you can just roll them up. So years ago we used to roll them up, and then we used to cut it in half. And then on here like that, we used to have some grated parmesan and it would be grilled. And when we made them, we made a fair few at a time. So then we just grate a bit of parmesan on top. And then this could go onto the grill, yeah? So it'll get nice and brown, but we do it in a whole big dish of it, so you're not wasting all that. Or you could serve it like this. Yeah, either way, depending on what you think looks better. But parmesan, don't have to have parmesan on it, depends what you like. So, these ones are all done. There's just one more here. Now this one's stuck again a bit. Like I said, you know, I showed you it came out quite easily. But just move it with a fish slice or something like. You shouldn't really be using metal, by the way. That's not good for it. So, oh, the other thing is you can use oil in the pan, or you can use butter in the pan. So actually I'm going to make, I've got a couple of here, and I've got a little bit left here. I'm going to do a bit with oil or butter in the pan, because some people put butter in the pan. So this time, I'm going to put butter in the pan and I'll make a different flavour. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I forgot this one. This is one of my favourite flavours. So in here, I've got cinnamon. Let me show you this. In here, I've got some butter, golden syrup, and brown sugar. And I'm going to put some cinnamon. I'm going to make these cinnamon ones. These are really good. So hopefully this is thick and will come out. If not, I could put that in the microwave. So I'm going to put that in the microwave just so it goes a little bit runny. Otherwise, I think I'm going to struggle to get it out. But it will only need literally 10 seconds in the microwave. Then I've got this here, and I'm going to make these cinnamon roll type looking ones. They look really good, by the way. I think they look good. So that's probably enough, just to melt it a bit. So as you can see, I've stirred it, I've melted it. Last pancake coming out. Last pancake's nearly done. Turn that one off. So with this mixture here, it's just pointing at the table, it is. So with this mixture, not using that for the minute. So in here, so this is cinnamon, brown sugar, golden syrup, but you can use any type of sugar. I'm just using the brown because it looks a bit darker colour. I didn't aim very well. Normally I'm a good shot with that, but I wasn't very good there. So this goes in here. Now what I'm going to do is put the pancakes in, and I'm going to make it look a Swiss roll effect by putting this on. So wipe the excess off. I've got a lid for this somewhere. Forgot where I put the lid. So I need a lid for that. So where did I put the lid? I must have taken it off.